So right after our legs are done is when I really like to add the hair. I don't know why. This also just happens to be my favorite part to do for this particular craft. Yeah. So I actually had a lot of trouble finding a really efficient way to add the hair. Like one method called for like cutting out a bunch of pieces of hair and like looping them through the loops with a crochet hook, and that really just stretched it out, and none of the methods I found really worked for me this time around. So this is something I skillfully crafted myself. I don't know, maybe it's out there somewhere. So you'll need a tapestry needle and a significant amount of whatever color yarn you want your hair to be. And this time we're not going to be tying the other end. Okay, so flip your doll over. I'm going to start from this end. Look to where we stretched the chains out, and these pieces of yarn that go across, that's where we'll be putting the hair. So we're just going to go in from this end, and this is just me sticking my needle in somewhere. So pull the yarn the majority of the way through and leave a piece just a little bit longer than what you want your hair to be. So now we're gonna come over here, loop the yarn around finger, and then those cross pieces over the top of the head, we're going to go under the next one. So here's the hole the yarn is exiting from, and now we'll go into the same hole, but the needle will go under the next cross piece. And be sure to hold these pieces of yarn. So that's how it looks so far. Now we're going to take our needle and go under the hair pieces and then back under the working. And then we'll pull it tight. And this is just tying a knot around what we've just made. And so I find it easiest to loop what we have around my thumb, and now we go again. So the yarn around, this time there's only this new loop to contend with since there's no starting yarn. So now we're going to go in between the new loop and the old loop, catch the needle, and then we're going to go under our working yarn. And then we pull it tight. This piece of yarn might be a little too long, so watch out for that. So around the thumb, through under the cross piece, pull it, pull it, go in between the old and the new loop, and then go under the working yarn. Pull tight. Just continue on like that. I'm sure you may have noticed the discontinuity between the hair part and the leg part, just because the doll in my hand right now has no legs. Well, I will explain that away right now. I was going through editing the video, and the majority of the body and hair parts were very out of frame and annoying, so I'm refilming them. Okay, so now we're done with the hair, practically, but we still have this bit of yarn to deal with. So I'm going to go right under the yarn right here. I'm going to have my needle come out very near to the black yarn on the other side, just so it'll blend quite nicely. This was too much yarn. But it's fine for now, and so this isn't going to make our hair look any better, so we're just gonna snip it off. Tug. And now we can go in and snip all the loops. And you can trim it if you like. You can give it a crazy cool hairstyle, but I am just going to leave it as is. So next, we are going to make and attach the arms. So the color you ended your legs on, grab that color. That will be the end of the arm, and we're going to do a magic ring of 9. If you don't know what a magic ring is, well, pay attention and I'll show ya. So wrap the yarn around your hand like this. Bring it around. Make sure it's over the top of the initial wrap of yarn. Hold it like this. Grab your crochet hook. For teaching purposes, this will be number 1. This one will be number 2. So we begin by going under the first one, number 1, grabbing it and coming above both strands. So then we, from our working yarn, we pull through. Oh, pull through a little better than that. Pull through. Okay. Go under. Grab the yarn. Grab the yarn again, and we pull through. That is 1. Let me do that again. That's 2. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so once you have your 9 stitches, it should look something like this. So then grip it loosely at the base of the end. Okay, grab your little tail and just pull it, and it'll tighten it up. So it starts to look something like that. Keep pulling, keep tightening. And there you go. That's a lot easier than like making a slip knot and then single crocheting like 6 or 9 into that little slip knot, so it's useful. Okay, so this is our first row. Second row, we'll single crochet in the back loops for 9 stitches, just like how we did before. There's the back loop. Single crochet in that. Another back loop. Two. Three. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. I'm going to switch colors here on the 9th stitch, but before that I'm going to tighten it up a little bit just so it doesn't get stretched out so much. I know there's going to be like a little bit of a hole there, but we'll be tucking the tail into the arm. It won't be noticed. So grab your other contrasting yarn and then pull it through. Don't cut it. Make sure to make the row where you initially switch colors rather tight, otherwise it could be a little, it'll end up a little bulkier than the initial row, and that would cause the arm to sort of puff out at the ends, but we want a nice straight arm. Okay, so that's 9. Now we're going to single crochet 9 all around, and we're going to repeat that row until the arm measures 2 1/4 inches. So throw tighter, and the same goes for the arms as the legs. Make it all around a little bit tighter. Yeah, just keep repeating that same row until your arm measures 2 1/4 inches, and try to end on your second row of your color. See you then. 2 1/4 inches, that looks about right. So, I'm on my 7th stitch. Now I'm going to decrease 1, so I'm going to my hook into the next stitch, pull it through, then put it into the stitch next to that, pull it through, and I'm switching colors, so I'll pull this one through, and now you have 8. So now we're going to decrease every other row. So we're going to single crochet 8 here, now we go around again, but this will be a decrease row. Oh, before we decrease anymore, we should finish or stuff it a little more. has to be stuffed a little more. So go around for 7 this time. Okay, this will be a decrease row, so go around again. Five, and now we're going to decrease again. Also be... I'm working with a scrap of red yarn. I'm going to have to add a little bit more. Just, you don't need to cut your yarn. But this should be your last little stripe. So go around normal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And before I decrease anymore, I'm just going to snip the white yarn because we're not working with that anymore. And make sure before you've gotten to this last stripe that you've stuffed it as much as you want. I generally don't really prefer to stuff the top of the arm, just so the arms would be a little more, I don't want to say flimsy, but flimsy, floppy. So the arms will be more floppy when you're putting the doll to use. Okay, so now we're going to go around and this will be our last decrease. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we decrease 1. So go in 1, pull through, into the next one, pull through, pull it all the way through, so leave a long tail. We'll use that to sew it onto the body. Like that. Just to make sure I did it right, because I didn't do it right the first time. Try to make your stripes line up. Like that. So now we'll get started on the other arm. So the other arm is practically the same, it starts out the same. We do a magic ring of 9, so we go under the first strand, pull it through, pull that yarn through, go under, so round 2, we single crochet in the back loops for 9. Now we're going to single crochet regular 9 stitches around and repeat that until the arm measures 2 inches this time, not 2 1/4, 2 inches. So there it is. The arm is 2 inches long. Now you're going to crochet 1 more full round, so 9 more stitches around. Now we'll start the decrease. So on the other arm, we decreased right at the end of the round, but for this arm, we're going to decrease a little bit before the round ends. So one, two, three. And you don't have to do this if your doll is going to be solid. This is just for the stripy dolls. I'd finish the 7th stitch here if I wanted to, but I'm going to decrease here, so. Seven. And then one more after the decrease. 8. So now we have 8 stitches. And same as the other arm, decrease every other round. So now we're going to crochet 8 stitches around, and then the next round we'll do a decrease. But before that, I think before we get too deep into the decreases, I'll stuff it a little more actually. And I'm just using another crochet hook because it fits. This will be our next decrease round. Let's start off 1, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to decrease on the 6th. One more makes 7. And we'll just keep decreasing like that until we have a total of 5 stitches. And pull the yarn out, snip, and your left arm is complete. So now we can see where he'll fit on the body. I'm pretty satisfied with that. Stripes are lined up. All that's left to do is to sew them on. So, string needle. And there's really no actual proper way to do this, just sew it on. And to bind off, I just go through the entire body. One arm attached. So now I'm gonna go sew on the other arm, and I'll be back then. So there you have it, your finished Dammit doll. Once you've completed it, I suggest you give it a few test swings, see how it feels, and you're set for all your stress relieving needs. This has been Anna's very first tutorial. Thanks for watching. I hope it was okay.